Well, Stanley, means to me the courage of a singular vision that requires a lot of collaboration to achieve, but doesn't require any collaboration to basically create. Meaning the Stanley's visions were fiercely singular. Every single movie that Stanley ever made, he explored the subject absolutely to the finite detail. There was nothing left to explore when Stanley was done with a genre. The other thing that is utterly fascinating about Stanley, and I've kind of a little bit patterned my career, never as great as Stanley's career. Nobody ever could hope to be anything like Stanley in career. But in terms of eclectic subject matter, Stanley never came out of the same rabbit hole twice. Mm-hmm. Every single film certainly had the Kubrick, tone, touch, but it never repeated himself. Every single film was of a different genre. I mean, when you look at 2001 and you look at Barry Lyndon, how can you compare those? When basically you look at Dr. Strangelove, and then you look at Clockwork Orange, how do you compare that? These films were not possibly comparable with each other except in terms of his technique as a filmmaker, his craft, his style, his fierce eye. And the other thing about Stanley's fierce eye is when you see pictures of Stanley, and I knew Stanley quite well for about 19 years. Yep. And when you look at Stanley's pictures of him when he was a Look magazine photographer and quite young, and you look at Stanley when he was older and had the beard and had this sort of the Van Dyke and was quite much like the Columbo version of a filmmaker. Columbo and a filmmaker merged. When he got older, his eyes stand out. His eyes are absolutely the eyes of a little boy looking through ages of reincarnated wisdom. The eyebrows and just the penetrating study. When Stanley talked to me in person, I felt he was looking deeper into my eyes as a kind of, as a colleague, and also as somebody who was curious about what I was thinking and what my approach to film was. But Stanley would study. He studied actors that way. He would study the camera that way. He would study on the edit bay his films that way, and he would study other people that way. And I always felt that he was performing kind of mental surgery on me when he would just look at me, never through me, but at me, with those just stunningly ravenous eyes, yeah. Ravenous for new information, new ideas, just new inspiration, which Stanley gave to all of us.